Good morning, Annie. Good to see you.
I know it's good. It's nice to be in person. Obviously, I spoke to you in the pandemic
Absolutely,
over Zoom and technology, but it's nice to actually be here.
Do you know what? Let's start with the pandemic, because you were on the front line. You were working. You worked through it. What was it like? Give us an idea of what. I know we spoke to you during it. You know.
Well, do you know, it's funny because I kind of reflected a bit on it, because just before the pandemic, I was here in Ireland. I was speaking on one of the other shows, and it's so weird coming back here now afterwards and reflecting on the kind of 2 years or whatever it's been. And it went from kind of like a couple of cases in the hospital to just, it felt like our whole world was COVID, wasn't it? And in A&E it was tough. It was really tough. And, you know, the sharp end of it is that, you know, a lot of people aren't here that, you know, should be. And it's very sad to think how many families have lost people, and seeing people in that vulnerable state in the hospital especially. I think the worst thing about it, the thing I found really hard, was when someone's at the end of life, usually we get the family in. You know, a big part of our job is getting people in and making that passing as nice isn't the word, but as good as it can be, peaceful. Right? As peaceful as possible. But when you can't, you're not allowed to have family in, you know, people saying goodbye over iPads, that's not what I signed up for, you know. And it's horrible, and you feel like the villain really said, I'm really sorry you can't come in.
That must have been very tough on you and
the
people who you work with. Like
horrible.
Mentally, you know, it must have been so draining for you.
Yeah, and I think, you know, a lot of staff here in Ireland, I'm sure across the rest in the UK as well, is the mental health impact for staff is huge. You know, they're saying up to about 80% of staff are burnt out and struggling. And it's not, you know, post-traumatic stress. I mean, some of the stuff, you know, if I said half the things that we saw, you know, and really what it was like, you know, it's in there, you know, and I think that's what's hard.
I'd say we're about to hit a wave of a mental health pandemic as well.
Definitely.
After the actual COVID pandemic, when that abates, because not only the stress, the pressure, there's a lot of PTSD because of reasons like that. And mental health, of course, is something you're very, very passionate about. Yeah,
absolutely. I think we have to be realistic that the pandemic has been hard, not just in terms of physical sense, but the mental health, I think, impacts huge. And, you know, in my role as youth mental health ambassador, I focus on kind of under 25s. And I guess my biggest worry is the children. You know, what's happened, missing out on school for that time, the socialisation that happens, you know, for young people as well who've lost family members, who the grandparents might have passed away, or, you know, someone in the family is really unwell. And I think, I just worry, you know, that we need to make sure that over the next couple of years that we're really thinking about how we support children and young people through this time, make sure access to services is good, that we're talking about mental health as well. You know, this week is Mental Health Awareness Week, and I think it's very important we use these times to go, right, let's think about the people around us in our lives. Who around us might need a bit of help that's not talking about it. You know, who needs the
support. And what help is there? Like, you know, and to let them know that there is help there.
Absolutely.
In terms of, you know, you mentioned you're over here now for Wellness Week. How important is it for you for young people to see you at an event like this? Because a lot of people will know you from Love Island, but they might have made, oh yeah, no, he's a doctor. Oh, yeah, but mental health. How important is it for you to use your notoriety as a platform and use social media for good? We mentioned that in the intro. How big of a part does that play?
Well, as I say, I'm speaking to Wellfest later on, which I'm excited to do. And, you know, I arrived in Dublin yesterday morning, and it's been amazing. I mean, look, you guys are all so friendly anyways, you're worldwide known to be so friendly. And, you know, the people coming up have been coming up to me and saying, look, you know, I just want to say, you know, the work that you're doing in mental health is so important. I really care about it. And these are young men. These are actually some men in their 40s and 50s came and said hello. We've had young girls come and saying hello as well. And what's interesting is that, people go, oh, I remember you on Love Island, but people really care about this. And it's not about me. It's about I think we've all kind of been through something in this pandemic. Everyone knows someone that struggled, and I think that's the truth. And last night, you know, a chap came up and said, you know, a family member of mine really struggled in this time, and you know, when he lost them because of the mental health struggles, and you can feel that people really care about it, and it means something, and it means a lot to me when people say that. And so with the social media, that's why, you know, social media can get a really bad rap, of course. But, you know, if you can try and do something good with it and try and help something like this, I think that really helps me get through, you know, a lot of stuff that I've been through as well.
Jan, you've been through a lot in your life, and you're very passionate about the mental health issues and breaking the stigma, and for a very personal reason. Obviously, I'm so sorry about the loss of your brother. That's just, I can't bear thinking about it. But we do have to think about these things and using that experience to help so many other people, because this is exactly what you've done. It's a great tribute to your brother's memory.
Yeah, I mean, you're holding the book Live Well Every Day there, and I was halfway through writing that book when Llyr took his life, and I had I remember the publisher saying, look, do you want to pause? We can wait, we can do it next year. I said, no, I want to finish the book, I want to dedicate it to him, and I want to do it because I don't want other people, other families to go through what we have to go through every day. You know, it doesn't get easier, it doesn't get better, you learn to live with it. You know, but accepting of the fact that he's not here. And I hope, you know, the work that I'm doing, that book with the things that I talk about in terms of looking after yourself and kind of, because I do really feel very strongly, you know, the more I visit schools, that we're just not taught enough about looking after ourselves. We learn maths, we learn English, we learn history, which are very important, but surely looking after yourself and learning about sleep and nutrition and what you need to do for how you actually look after your relationships and how do you deal with stress and difficult times in your life. Those are the things that, the rest of it's amazing, but if you don't have that, then what's the point?
They're actually the life skills and life tools that we need to be telling our young kids.
Absolutely.
But for a lot of people as well, though, myself included, if you are maybe suffering from depression, anxiety, something like that, and you're medicated, you almost feel stigmatised because of it. I love what you do on social media because it gets a lot of stick for being used for evil, but you use social media for good, and the Post My Pill campaign is amazing because I know I wouldn't be sitting here without my antidepressants, and I'll tell you that for nothing. And a lot of people are afraid to admit that they're on them, afraid to admit they need them, and we really have to take the stigma away. If you have high blood pressure, you take a pill. If you have arthritis, you can take a pill for that. If you have high cholesterol, you take a pill, and you take a pill for the serotonin levels in your brain. And like it or not, you're still stigmatised about it, despite all the work everybody's doing. Does that frustrate you?
Well, the whole reason, and thank you for sharing that, actually, because people at home will go, do you know, but the reason I started Post Your Pill is because I was going to start, I have anxiety, and I got to the point I was doing the role and the work I was doing, and my anxiety levels were really bad. I said, do you know what? I need to get some more support. So I was having therapy, spoke to the GP, and they said, look, let's try sertraline. And I remember holding the first tablet in my hand, and even being like, with all the stuff, the mental health stuff I do, and it being as open as I am, I was like, oh gosh, has it come to this?
Crossing the Rubicon, really, wasn't it?
No, like why? I shouldn't be thinking like that. And I thought, if I'm thinking like that in my role, what does everyone else feel in the stigma? So that's why I posted it. And I was worried, I was nervous, because I was like, oh, what are people going to say? But the response has been unbelievable, you know, from cricketers doing it to sports people. And what was fascinating as a bit of a social experiment, the first people that posted the first few days, I mean, thousands of people posted it, almost all women, OK? And I had men text me saying, I want to do it, but DMing me and saying, I want to do it, but I'm worried. And then a few men started doing it, and it was a snowball effect. And all of a sudden, there's guys in their 50s posting it. There was people that you maybe traditionally see as, like, stereotypical men posting it. And I think that's so important, because if someone else sees someone they relate to and go, do you know what, I feel like I'm like that guy.
And that's exactly the body of people that we need to post. Is
they're
that
disproportionately affected,
the male in his 50s, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That they're the people we need to say, no, I am taking these because I need help.
And you can still be successful, you can still have a good
life,
you can enjoy, you can laugh, it doesn't, you know, that's
in terms of the book, two very quick questions on the book. First of all, you know, you said your publisher said, look, we might put, you want to pause? You said no, we kept going. Did you find that helped you? Did it help you through your grieving process? I know myself, it's not easy, but was it cathartic? Did it help to?
I think in some ways, yes. I think, you know, it's a painful process, but I think for me it was the fact that finishing the book meant that, and I do believe that there are things in that book that can really help people, and for different people they might take different things away from it, but. You know, I really feel it helped people. And I think it was like that knowledge that helped. You know, thinking, right, will this book help one person not to be in the position that Llyr was in? And I've had people come up to me and say, do you know what, I didn't know what to expect with the book. I thought, you know, I'll know quite a lot of this stuff, but I think, you know, there's so much stuff in there that I didn't even know at med school. I've had to research and learn and build my own knowledge in areas, particularly around sleep. No one really talks about the thing, you know. Old classic thing, have a you know, glass of whiskey will help you sleep. You know, alcohol's actually terrible for your sleep and stuff. But throughout school, even at thing, I was like, oh, but it helps you go to sleep. It doesn't actually help you sleep.
It's a book packed with tips and knowledge.
I'll be reading that myself.
Alex, it's been an absolute pleasure to catch up. It's great to have you here in the studio with us. Enjoy yourself Enjoy yourself while you're here.
And I would definitely love to come back again. And I hope I hope we've got a few people come to Wellfest later. I'll be there.
Oh, absolutely, you will. Absolutely.
Enjoy the sunshine.
Thank you,
Alex. If you are attending this year's Wellfest, you can see Dr. Alex giving his talk about mental health today. And if you're not attending, but you still like some of Alex's advice, you can check out his book, Live Well Every Day, 7 Ways to Transform Your Health Today, which is out now. Thank you, Alex.